Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Comic Wasteland. I'm Joe. That's Johnny. We're here to talk about Mech Cadet Yu by Greg Pak, Takeshi Miyazawa, and Boom Studios. "60 years ago, a mech lands in Arizona and befriends a Boy Scout named Skip Tanaka. They became friends to fight an alien race called the Shard.
Won the hearts of millions.
Yeah. Now we have the Sky Corps that trains cadets to join other mechs that come to Earth. Because apparently every 4 years, these mechs come to Earth.
I mean, like, I feel like it's this, like, kind of like the whole Iron Giant aspect.
Right.
That, like, you know, they kind of like bond together. Like, you know, like they have each other's backs. Like, you know, they look after each other. The story starts with like the head honcho, or like the general.
The general, yeah.
Yeah, is like giving a speech, talking like yada yada yada. The main character, Stanford, is just he's just listening in, doing no harm.
Right. He's the janitor's son. So he's there, you know...
custodial engineer.
Yeah, the custodial engineer's son. At first, you think that he's in the audience of, like, with the rest of these cadets hearing the general...
Well, you know, you kind of see, like, his uniform is different compared to the Sky Cadets.
Right.
And then that's when his mom's like, "Oh, Stanford, get to work, fool." Yeah. Like, what, like, time is money. I guess the main antagonist at this point is like, "Oh, if you're going to interrupt the ceremony, can you at least do it in English?" Which is like a really douchey thing to say. They were speaking
in Cantonese. Yeah, it was a really asshole-ish thing to say to someone. And then when Stanford was about to get at her, his mom reminded him, you know...
Like, know your place, because they're at the top, we're bottom feeders.
Yeah. His mom finds him crying on a bench, and, you know, he's like, "I'm not crying," you know? Like,
yeah, like a typical, like, "I'm not crying, you crying." Like,
but he's there playing with his robot, because he dreams of going into space. But, you know, I guess because, you know, they're establishing that... You know, since they're the custodial engineers, I guess they're maybe too poor to go into the academy or something. Or maybe it's a
whole status quo.
A status thing, right. You know, so, you know, he dreams of going into space, but even his mom reminds him that, you know, it's a lot safer down here.
Stanford runs off, and then, like, they cut to Mount Robos, where, like, it's the actual ceremony where, like, the robots touch down.
Right.
And 2 out of 3 cadets get their robots, while the main antagonist Park is like, "What the fuck?
Yeah, where's mine?" And even the general's like, "Hold on, you know, we got something special for you anyway. You know, you don't need these mechs."
But then, like, it cuts back to Stanford, and he's just riding his bike
in the middle of the desert.
And then, like, he sees a scrap of metal. And then,
just like in the middle of nowhere, there's like, one panel,
and just him being him, like, so used to
cleaning up. Yeah,
he just like, he picks it up and tries to get rid of it. And that's when the third robot shows up, which is the blue one. And, like,
he's missing a front panel from his head. And so Stanford gives him the panel, and the robot uses his, like, X-ray vision. And he sees the little toy robot in Stanford's
which is made out
pocket.
of trash. It looks like,
or
at least like junk. Like,
it looks like
toothpaste cap as a head. It's like, it was like something like it looked like something he made himself to keep himself occupied. The robot sees it, and, like, that's how, like, they bond. Like, the robot chooses Stanford.
Right. 2 of, like, I guess officers from the Sky Corps come.
Yeah, they're flying. Like, Stanford's like enjoying this flying around.
Yeah. So Stanford and his blue mech are you know, having, like, that never-ending story scene where Sebastian's flying on Falcor, and then these 2 gray robots from the Sky Corps come, you know, cease and desist, you know, you're an unauthorized pilot, and so they attempt to, you know, arrest Stanford and subdue the robot, and then out of nowhere, this
yellow and white,
it comes down, and he's like, you know, you guys need to get off of him, and, you know, he puts these dudes in their place, and we find out it's 60-something-year-old Skip Tanaka.
I think he might be a bit older, because, like, he was a Boy Scout.
Yeah, he was a kid, right.
So, like,
60 years ago, he was a kid. So, yeah, the guy might be, like, in his 70s by now.
Yeah.
He comes in, he saves the day. It sounded like he wasn't expected to be there. Like, in the beginning, because the general says in the beginning,
he's off doing his own. He's
off fighting the good fight in outer space or something. So then we cut back to Sky Corps headquarters, I assume.
Yeah, it was safe to say.
Yeah, and then the general was, like, you know, telling Park, you know, he's reassuring her that, you know, you're the brightest student we have. You work the hardest.
Top of the class.
Yeah, top of the top honors.
Feed into the ego. Blaming you could blame the robots for their flawed logic for not picking you.
Right.
So they're like, so we came up with the first man-made, like, robot, which is Hero Force 1.
Looks very, was it like
it looked like
something out of
Evangelion.
something out of Neon Genesis.
It's pretty cool to actually have like another Asian American, like an original character. So it's really refreshing to have like the creative team that did Amadeus Cho come up with a new one with a whole new like backstory,
and not adapting another property or something, or adding someone to an existing property. And if you look at the interview in the back of the issue, you know, both of them are just like gushing over their loves of all things robot.
It reminds me of like all like classic, like, you know, Iron Giant, Gigantor, Tetsujin, wherever
Mazinger,
tickles your fancy. I wouldn't say Mazinger. I know nothing about Mazinger, so I like.
Or but Gundam, you know, Evangelion, like you mentioned before, and even Robotech to a degree.
Robotech, Megas XLR. I like, you know, like the whole junk aspect reminds me of Megas. Robotech, how it looks like Stanford's gonna like get thrown into like the fire, just like sort of similar like how Rick Hunter.
The mechs have a life of their own. It's not just, you know, people, you know, random people piloting these lifeless robots.
Enough to like actually like to choose their actual, like, you know, their cadet. I loved it. I think it's only like 4 issues, I think they said, or is it on?
I think it's an ongoing. But yeah, I like the book. I'm going to stick with it. It takes something that you're familiar with, and then it puts a new twist on it. But yeah, as always, guys, please like, share, comment, please subscribe. Let's talk about the book some more. All right, guys, take care.
See ya. Bye.